from the great important swing state of Florida. We'll be paying very close attention to in 301 days on election night. Senator Marco Rubio. Senator, thank you again for being back with us. I want to get your overall view of what has evolved here. Interesting to see that they don't want us to retaliate when they started the whole thing.
Well, that's how we wound up here. First of all, the Obama administration entered into a terrible deal with regards to Iran and nuclear weapons that allowed them to continue to build ballistic missiles. These aren't rockets, these are missiles that have guidance and have increased range and lethality, and they're developing some of that with the money they got from the Iran deal. It allowed them to continue to sponsor terrorism, and ultimately it would have allowed them to gain a nuclear weapon down the road. The Trump administration took us out of that bad deal and imposed economic sanctions. The Iranians decided to respond to economic sanctions with violence, and they used all these other groups. They didn't want to do it themselves, so they used all these Shia groups to attack us in the region. And Soleimani was the one behind it. President Trump made very clear to them, not 2 weeks ago, months ago, you guys keep doing this stuff, but if you kill an American, if you kill a single American, there's going to be a response. And they did. They killed an American contractor. He responded. And then he prevented a future attack. If you take the sum of all the intelligence and put it together, it indicates that at some point in the very near future, there was going to be a much more serious attack that could have cost the lives of many more Americans, and the president acted to prevent it. This is their response to it. Now, we need to wait to have the full assessment. I think the White House tonight has been very measured. It's waiting for its full assessment of the damage and what's actually happened here. I suspect that one of the things you're seeing here is Iran knows it can't win a full war with the United States. By the way, no one's advocating for that. I think you've already said it on your program. No one's talking about Desert Storm 3 or invading Iran or sending 100,000 U.S. troops to take over or even to change a government. We're talking about self-defense here. There will be a response that I am confident to this attack tonight is the right one. It's appropriate based on what's been done. But I suspect that what you're starting to see in that statement from the foreign minister is they've ginned up all of this stuff inside of Iran, and Soleimani's a martyr and all of this, and now they had to do something. And we need to see exactly what they did here, because they hit very heavily fortified facilities that we knew were going to be targets of attacks. And so I'm very curious to see the full assessment. Irrespective, there will be a response, and it'll be appropriate, and the president will take it on his timing, not in a rush to get in front of the cameras in a 24-hour news cycle. That's the way they've handled this entire episode, and I'm confident that's the way they're going to handle it moving forward.
Senator, you seem to be one of the few that immediately understood the importance of taking out Soleimani. I can describe in chapter and verse the details of the gruesome orchestration by him killing Americans in Iraq. We know about that. Before he arrived at Baghdad airport, Soleimani is our leader. Remember, it was put on the embassy walls. We know Hezbollah led the attack. We know Hezbollah is, of course, funded by Iran. They are the #1 state sponsor of terror. We know they picked out our drone. We know they've been attacking the Saudis. We know they've been trying to disrupt oil supplies. To those that say, oh, we shouldn't react this way, what do they want us to do? Is the mindset that you got to give mullahs that hate us, that attack us, and do all of these things, what, $150 billion again? Is that the mindset of some?
Yeah, I don't understand it. You know, I've seen virtually, not all the Democratic candidates for president are under the arguing that we shouldn't have done this. Let me tell you two things about it. Number one is, okay, this guy's career, I know they call him a general, but he's not some military commander that abides by the rules of international warfare. This is a covert operator. This is a guy who specializes in standing up these groups who are dedicated to attacking and killing Americans. They did it with the IEDs in Iraq. They were behind this attempt to storm our embassy a few days ago, and he was specifically warned, if an American dies in one of your operations, you're going to pay a big, big price. Now think about it. If an American president makes that claim and doesn't back it up, you have basically invited them to kill more Americans because they think they can get away with it. And they miscalculated here. So that's number one. Number two is, we knew he was in the region. He had just traveled to Beirut. He was coming in from Damascus. We understood from the totality of intelligence going back months and weeks that he was planning even larger, more catastrophic attacks against the United States. We had to act in the defense of American lives. A president that doesn't and isn't willing to do that should not be president of the United States, and this president did.
Well said. Thank you for your leadership also. I mean, you, Senator Cruz, Senator Graham have been phenomenal. Thank you, Senator Rubio.